諦めなさい。
即戦即決。
その命いただいたわ。無駄な努力をやめたら。
まずい。面白い。
無駄な努力をやめたら。しびれなさい。しびれなさい。無駄な努力をやめたら。
The past few weeks have been an absolute treasure trove for Ningguang players. We've been able to get a Ningguang constellation basically for free if you chose her from Stand By Me. We're also able to get a free Ningguang constellation from the shop as of the start of March 2021. And for me personally, I was able to get a Ningguang constellation from the event Wish right before it actually expired, the Kating one. So without further ado, let's have a look at her. Here we are somewhere with Ningguang. So we're going to go up against this here singular good old-fashioned ruin guard, i.e. my testing dummy, training dummy, all of that good stuff. No enormous circumstances because we're standing on grass. I would set that grass on fire and, well, I've decided against that. Because, Smokey the Bear says only you can prevent forest fires. So we're just going to throw rocks at the situation. Now the big thing is that I got C5 Ningguang. So have a look at the amount of damage that I can do with that gate. Sitting at 13,000, but I can actually do 2 of them in rapid succession, which basically means that I am doing around about 30,000 damage pretty bloody easily. And it's also very consistent in the amount of damage that I do. So let's have a look at the stats and just apprise ourselves of, or rather remind ourselves of the build that I am using. Here is the build that I am using for Ningguang. Really straightforward. We have 1,500 attack, as well as some elemental mastery, some defense, and all that good stuff. The weapon I am using, of course, is the Widsith, which is a 4-star weapon, which would account for the sort of lower than what you would expect attack levels, but that's okay because it's a 4-star weapon. We are getting some extra crit damage from that weapon as well, which makes it really strong. I also happen to have an R2, Refinement Rank 2 on the Widsith. I don't know how that happened, but either way, the passive is stronger now, so that is, of course, really fun to use. The artifacts that I am using are going to be the Archaic Petra and Noblesse Oblige. So we are going for a good old-fashioned flower with some extra crit rate, a good old-fashioned feather with some extra crit rate, a good old-fashioned timepiece with both crit rate and crit damage. This one, of course, being the only thing that's not part of a set, but that's apparently absolutely perfectly fine because of those substats being really good. We're also going for a good old-fashioned Geo bonus cup as per usual with some extra crit rate in there for the hell of it. I have no intention of getting another Geo damage bonus cup, especially from this particular set, because typically trying to get something like that as perfect as possible takes about 3 years, so I'm not going to bother doing that at all. And finally we have a crit rate mask known as the Royal Mask. The main thing, of course, is that it gives crit rate as well as some extra attack, which, of course, is very useful. Now, the constellations, like I said, are at Constellation 5. So basically, we have normal attacks that deal AoE damage, plus every time the Jade screen is shattered, that also includes if you use your ultimate, the cooldown resets, which basically happens a lot, frankly. So I can always do a really high damage, super duper mega ultra burst combo by Jade screening, ulting, and then Jade screening again. That does a lot of damage. We also have 3 extra levels on my ultimate, the Star Shatter. We also have some elemental resonance when I actually use good old-fashioned Jade screen, some elemental resistance rather. And then we have 3 levels on the Jade screen, which of course is really good. So how much damage does those 3 levels on the Jade screen give me? I used to have level 9 Jade screen and now I have level 12. My Jade screen gives 461% skill damage. Now because I happen to also have something called C2 Ningguang, which gives me that good old-fashioned Jade screen cooldown reset when the Jade screen decides to shatter or potentially deletes itself via the use of the ultimate, you can essentially say that I have 900, just over 900% skill damage when I do the full burst using the Jade Screen. So that is actually really, really strong. And that is before you also then take into account how many gems are involved when it comes to doing the full burst damage with Star Shatter. So that is, of course, why Ningguang is pretty much a hilariously hyper mega damage carry at this particular moment in time. So that's pretty much it. The idea now with Ningguang is that she's basically my actual highest damage dealing character right now. Originally, I thought that someone like Lisa would be my highest dealing damage character in the game. No. Unfortunately, because I'm not able to get any Lisa talents, that's not going to happen for quite some time. But that's okay, because Ningguang is able to carry quite a lot. So when I'm using my normal team, I have 2 characters who can do a hilariously high amount of damage, and then of course also have Xiangling, who can also do a hilariously high amount of damage, and then also have Noelle, who is really good at just about everything. See my previous Noelle build to have an understanding of what I'm doing with her. But either way, when I want to do things that just irritate me and make me cry, for example, good old-fashioned Spiral Abyss, i.e. Spiral Depression, I can at least rely on Ningguang to carry one entire floors, or at least one half of an entire floor, and then the real struggle begins with the other floor, so we're gonna have to figure out that. But either way, that's essentially it. I get the feeling that because I have a C5 Ningguang, I'm actually doing more damage with just one character than anyone who has a Dialogue. Because obviously, you know, good old-fashioned Dialogue being completely and utterly useless, people keep saying that he's absolutely S tier who does a lot of damage. Does he though? Does he do a lot of damage when you compare him to someone like C5 Ningguang, who I would argue is so much easier to get than C anything Dialogue, frankly? Somehow I have C1 Dialogue and that just pisses me off. But I get the feeling that my Ningguang completely outclasses every single 5-star, except for maybe Ganyu and maybe Zhao, and possibly Zhongli. I have seen, of course, Sunny use these characters to an extremely effective way, so perhaps my C5 Ningguang is not going to be able to outclass them, but I think in general she can pretty much outclass everyone else pretty bloody easily. So let me know what you think about all this in the comments below. Again, what do you think about C5 Ningguang? Are you going to aim for C5 Ningguang? I have every intention of getting C6 Ningguang as well, because reading the description of that seems really, really strong. So hopefully it is exactly how I believe it was going to work, because I have high expectations for that particular constellation. But otherwise, hope you guys enjoyed. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more Genshin Impact action, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye!